Today I want to talk about, does God lead you to your future spouse? And I'm going to answer it this way. First, I'm going to give you my personal story to validate this. And I'm going to give you two ways in which God moved in me, which did help me see my future spouse. So let me start with the story. I met my wife actually in college. It was we were freshmen, and she was standing in like the student union building with a few other girls. And that's the first time I met her. Not knowing, had no idea that she was going to be my wife and we were going to be married. So we met. I thought she looked like an island girl to me. I have a Jamaican background, and I could tell even down the road that she, came from a Christian home, had really good morals and values, and especially as I got to spend time with her. But at the time, I was raised in the church. I kind of fell away, and in college, I, fallen away at that point. I was dating someone else, and I would say if you were to sum up my relationships, it wasn't based on values or anything like that. Usually, I was to the point where if a girl liked me, I would say, okay, why not? Just go out with her. And this was high school and happened in college as well. So we went, I was in a relationship. That relationship ended, and I spent some time alone. And I go into more detail in a video I'll link at the end of this video. I spent some time alone and really kind of assessing myself, and part of that assessment was I really had an experience where I decided to follow God, really get back to God. And I would say after that happened, it was like, I'm not saying it was instantaneous, it happened, overnight, but I started to think about Jeanette, my future wife at the time. Hadn't seen her in a while. For some reason, she was coming up in my mind, to the point where I did, look out for her, and we started hanging out. And the short version is, we started dating. So I would say, if you think about my story, that's one of the first ways in which God did lead me to my future spouse. In that, God changed my criteria. Because now, first of all, let me just backtrack a little bit. I wasn't really even looking for a relationship after I was getting back with God. I really wasn't looking for a relationship. I figured, let me finish college and, not really get into any other relationships at that time and just focus on my studies. But obviously, God was doing something in me. Jeanette would come up in my mind, and so that's the first thing, is that God changed my criteria, right? If I were to, even though I wasn't looking for a relationship at that time, if I'm I'm trying to get my life together and get back with God, I also want somebody going the same way. And that's very different from before I was really seeking God. That really wasn't as much of a criteria, but now it became a criteria. So I do want to encourage, there's so much talk. I know it's challenging for women to find a man per se, but I would say it goes both ways, because many women want to find a godly man, and really, a lot of men may not realize it, but they really want a godly woman. So I want to use this time just encourage some men out there. Your answer may not be, looking out there necessarily for women. Your answer could really be, kind of happened to me, searching, seeking out God, getting stronger with God, and letting God change your criterias. So you will look at women a bit differently. And the women, like in my case, maybe somebody you just did not see her that way. So I do want to encourage the men out there, maybe try something different. You tried a lot of things and you still haven't found the right one. And I would encourage you to really think about taking that approach with God and see what may come out of it. So that's one thing God did. God definitely change my criteria. If I were to get into another relationship, it would have to be somebody who loved the Lord, and Jeanette definitely fit that. Cross those buckets right there, and good morals, good character. Someone that I could feel proud to, present to my parents. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is, when you are in that experience in coming to God, I felt, we all made mistakes. No one is perfect. I really felt that forgiveness from God for things I have done, and also in the process was able to release a lot of stuff I was holding on. That people have done stuff to me, and I think that was really important process to go through in order to really get to that point where I could be with Jeanette and then eventually get married. This year will be 29 years of marriage. So being forgiven and forgiving, it was a huge step to grow as a person. And just thinking about marriage, a big part of marriage, for those of you who are not married, those of you who are, is a big part is forgiveness. Things will happen in a marriage, and you have to forgive the person and not hold it against them. So being able to do that and release a lot of baggage that I've been carrying for years was a huge, tremendous step to get me in the right frame of mind and the right setup, so that now at that point, after I changed my criteria and was able to get rid of all of this junk and stuff I'm carrying for years, I kind of had a clean slate, which freed up. I didn't go into this relationship like I said. I wasn't looking for it. God really moved. He really did move. But really go into that relationship with a clean slate, with not a lot of baggage and a lot of just carrying junk around. So I definitely do believe that God can lead you to your future spouse. And I just want to encourage you, if you tried everything else, give God a try. Now, don't give God a try to get something. I would say give God a try anyway to get you to that type of person that can attract that right female, or you're a female, the right guy. Get to that point where you can really attract that person that God wants you to be. Because ultimately, you don't want to be in that relationship before you're ready for it, because then it might not work out. You're just not ready for it at that time. So trust God. I know that God can do anything. I see it in my life, and I just want to encourage all of you out there to don't give up on God. Seek Him first, and all the things shall be added unto you. I have some links to videos here. One is if you want to get a bit deeper in how we met, and there's also another one on the seasons of marriage. The reality is marriage has seasons, so I hope this other video will help you to understand, if you're getting married, what you're signing up for. So thank you very much, and have a good night.